I ain't gonna lie. Eventually, probably the next time I come here, I'm gonna take that StreamYard from there, put it on this computer. We should all just rock out. Oh, but shit, we can't do it on one StreamYard because it'd be clashes streaming on both. I'm gonna see if we open up different studios and use one StreamYard because this one we can stream on 3 different platforms on here. But we'll figure that shit out. You want some of that wine right there, sir?
Nah, I'm cool.
That's definitely. Hey, Shalom Israel, you know what I'm saying? It's another episode of Dropping Jewels. I got my big brother right here, Priest Officer of 1,000, the Kamai Mod, you know what I'm saying? Rocking out with me tonight.
Right.
A Priest Officer 500, Karan Yalla, you know what I'm saying? Welcome to another episode of Dropping Jewels. We're going to get started in a second. I'm going to let a couple of brothers and sisters get up in here, you know what I'm saying? And, we're going to rock it out. Get to some of these stories.
Right.
Like
And here is where you want to be.
right. Always be forgetting to put that on. Advertise this.
It's like if I may.
Go ahead, sir.
I've been meaning to say that's the cold title that came up with Dropping Jewels. You know what I mean? Because
I ain't gonna lie to you, sir. Right? Not to cut you
Go
off.
Go ahead.
I be debating to myself like, damn. Did me and Natazab come up with it together, or did he come up with it? Because we was having a conversation on what we should name the podcast,
right?
And Natazab, he kind of like said something that alluded to Dropping Jewels,
right?
But then I took what he said and was like, nigga, that's it, Dropping Jewels. He was like, oh yeah, that's cold right there. So yeah, I'll give him the credit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but like I said, that title is just so cold because you go out as priests and prophets, man. You dropping the word of the Lord, law, statutes, and commandments,
right?
And you dropping them,
right?
And all the Negro got to do is pick up one.
That's right.
Pick up one.
Right. Damn right.
And he is it.
Nah, you absolutely right. Damn right, sir. All you gotta do is drop one up because it's valuable information. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But Sluggy, sir, you ready to get up into it?
It's your show.
Come on, the water. The water for gracing us with your presence. I definitely appreciate it. You know what I'm saying?
Privilege and pleasure.
Okay, so let's get it started. Fewer than half of Black Americans say news often covers the issues that are important to them. 4 in 10 Black Americans say that the issues and events most important to them are often covered in the outlets that they get from news. So like that they get news from. According to a Pew Research Center survey conducted in 2023. So basically, you know what I'm saying, what they saying is less than half of Black people actually believe that the news covers issues that has anything to do with us. What's your take on that, sir?
Well, I would say that actually I say 50%. That's a high number.
I said 40, sir.
Yeah, 40%, you know what I mean? Because most of us are in the dark about everything that the oppressor is trying to get across to us.
Right.
So that number is actually, I would expect it to be lower than that.
Right.
I really would expect it to be lower than that because, like I say, we identify with the oppressor so much that, like I said, that number should be a lot lower.
Right.
But so that would be saying that so-called Black people are aware and are awoke about all this stuff that's coming out when there's actually a lot less than that. That's my take on it.
Right. We paying attention more than I thought.
Right.
Absolutely. I'm gonna read a little bit more. By contrast, a slim majority of white Americans, 54%, say the outlets they get from Salakia say the outlets they get news from cover the topics that are most important to them extremely or fairly often. Man, so it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. I mean, we do live in the world that's ran by the oppressor. So I would have thought that number would have been higher. Really,
Right.
I would have thought it would probably been like 75% of them that actually believe that the news that they get actually concerns their lives.
Right.
Which, go ahead, sir.
I was gonna say because all the news that they put out, it favors them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Favors them. So that goes to show you that maybe there's a portion of them that are more asleep than you would expect.
Mm-hmm. Now that's heavy, sir. That's heavy that you say that. And I was gonna say, probably local news. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I would think that it depends on what type of news you watching and how woke you are actually to what's going on to world events and why does it apply to certain people? Because I know for us being in the truth, we watch what's going on with Israel and Palestine and all of that, right? On the surface, it has nothing to do with blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians.
Right.
But going deeper into it, it has everything to do with us because it's actually biblical prophecy.
Right.
As far as the local news and all of that, yeah, I'm in agreement with this. I'm in agreement with this. And yeah, I agree. I can believe it. That maybe that's what I should say.
Right. Right. I think the numbers just might be a little off, but
Right.
definitely accurate.
Read a little bit more. These findings come from a broader center study of Black Americans' experiences with news, in which may criticize the way the news media covers Black people. The survey also asks about Black Americans' interest in specific news topics. There's a wide range of issues that Black Americans want to keep up with. Half or more say it's extremely or very important to them to follow healthcare and medicine, 66%, crime, 58%, economy and jobs, 57%, education and schools, 54%. About 4 in 10, 41% say it is important for them to keep up with the government and politics, while 15% say the same of entertainment, pop culture, and sports. Whoa, hold on. So Salaki, if I may, you right. Niggas ain't just concerned about sports and entertainment no more.
Right.
Niggas is paying attention. And it's crazy too, because like you said earlier in class, the prophet said knowledge is going to increase. Like, man, Barak Yahweh Shah, because I know y'all watching the UPK and don't want to admit it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because let's just go back to the 90s, probably to the 80s, you know what I'm saying? Post the Black Power era, you understand? Niggas wasn't paying attention to no news and trying to see about politics and all of this type of stuff, you know what I'm saying? But now you got certain Black people that's actually seeing world events and how it has something to do with their life directly or indirectly. So now, instead of the majority of Black people want to be entertained by pop culture and sports, they're actually looking for something to find in the news that has something to do with their life personally or with the Black community as a whole.
Right, and if I may, here's the thing though, right? Because even the things that are in the news that we're concerned about, if we read between the lines or the underlying message, those things that we're concerned about, when you read these stories, a lot of times they're actually going against us.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying? Because it's usually going against us, or it's trying to pit so-called Black and Latinos against each other.
Right.
Like I think I saw a story the other day about how so-called Blacks are so concerned with the immigration status of our Issacharite brothers and our Asherite brothers coming across the border. Right. So that's concerning to so-called Black people, because they'll say that these brothers are coming from the south of the border to take our job. Right. Which is pitting us against each other. Yeah, you're concerned about that particular story. I don't mean to take you off track.
No,
you're concerned about that particular subject, right? But here's the thing. When our brothers and sisters come from south of the border, they're doing the jobs that we don't want to do.
Right.
And granted, yeah, we used to do those jobs, right? But their oppressors used us to do those jobs. They found a cheaper source of labor,
right?
Bring them over, which this is their land anyway, and pit us against each other. You understand? So, like I say, that's the type of story that has political, social impacts, but it's pitting us against our brother.
Right.
And I don't know what the rest of the story is, but I just wanted to bring that out. Because these stories that we say that we're so concerned about, we don't understand that the majority of them go against us.
Right.
Like I say, political stuff. And we ain't even supposed to be voting.
Nah, not at all.
You know what I mean?
Not
so like, I don't want to take over the show, but go
hey, look, sorry. Please, you know what I'm saying? Like, what you said was so heavy, right? Like, and I really didn't even think about that. A lot of the stuff that they do put on the news for Black people to actually watch is literally us being pit against the Northern Kingdom of the Children of Israel, right? And it's crazy too, because like you said, Black people see the news and see a bunch of brothers and sisters coming from South America coming up here, and what do? Oh shit, they coming to take our jobs, or they coming to get the resources that they would give us. Right. First of all, they're not giving us no damn resources.
Right.
They're not giving them niggas none either. You know what I'm saying? Right. Second, like you said, sir, the jobs that they do get, we don't want them. You know what I'm saying? Because, and then if we do have those jobs, these are so-called undocumented illegal aliens that they can exploit. They got to pay you $20-some-odd an hour. You understand? Because you got citizenship, you got a social security card. You know what I'm saying? You gonna file your taxes and all that type of stuff. When they can get the cheap labor from these brothers and sisters, you understand, and have to use less resources, but the underlying factor is whether they was here or not. You understand? None of the resources or the actual the wages that are content for that type of job, none of us is getting that any goddamn way. You understand? So yeah, that was heavy what you said, sir. Salaki. I'm gonna get a little bit more story. The majority of Black Americans who say each topic is important also say it is easy to find news and information about that topic. For example, 79% of Black adults who say it's important to them to follow entertainment, pop culture, and sports also say it's easy to find information about this. About 3/4 say the same when it comes to crime or government and politics. And that makes sense. It's easy to find information about these certain topics because we got social media, we got people that got different news outlets on YouTube. Like, we don't literally have to go turn on live TV to listen to the news that everybody else is watching, you understand, from news outlets. We can actually find journalists that create their own platform that show us the type of news that we want to see, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to just watching the news and listen to what they want you to hear.
And if I may,
go ahead, sir.
Just that subject of entertainment.
Right.
They say it's easy, or we say it's easy to find the stuff about entertainment. All of the entertainment that we're looking up that we want to find is destroying us.
Damn right, sir.
Right? Because so we'll complain about not having access to something that's destroying us.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's just crazy because this stuff is unaliving our people. It's demoralizing our sisters, our brothers, our children. Man, I just when I was at my rib slave changing the tire, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw she had to be like 8 or 9 years old, twerking in the parking lot.
In the
parking lot.
Damn.
You know what I mean? That's the stuff. I mean, we want to have access to entertainment. We want to have access to pop culture, but pop culture is actually destroying us.
Right.
You know, so everything that we want from our oppressor that we complain about, he uses it to destroy us.
Right.
And like I say, that's just amazing to me that, you know, just like I said, that one particular field of entertainment, it's like, damn, we're thirsting for that. We want to have access to that.
Right.
You know, like, go ahead.
Nah, it's heavy that you say that, and the fact that this is what we look for in the news, sports, pop culture, entertainment. The fact that we look for this in the news shows how destroyed Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians are.
Right.
Like, we literally want to see ourselves having fun as opposed to justice that's due to us, you understand, because of the oppression and the poverty that our people have to undergo by the hands of these other nations.
Right.
Like, you don't want to see justice for George Floyd as much as you want to see Sexy Red with a brother's head up her behind at her goddamn baby shower. You understand? We don't want to see our people actually, like what happened to the talk about reparations? Right. Niggas ain't talking about that no more.
Right.
We looking for, like, and just speaking on reparations, I know in the back of Black people's minds, it's like, yeah, they ain't really finna give us that. So we might as well just go ahead and keep having fun and get to how we live, and, you know, just deal with it how we gotta deal with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Which is evil as hell. Go ahead, sir.
It's like, you know, thing about reparations. We know that we'll never get reparations, right? You know, officer knocks off, so you can't bandage no open wound.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
And at the same time, I think it was probably toward the middle of last year, there was a group of people making a real good argument for reparations, right? But now election time has come. They think Joe Biden getting elected is more important than reparations. You know, and I tie that together because it's always something to take our minds off what's important to us. Even if what is important to us doesn't make sense, they put something, there's always a season for something to come around to take your mind off of this, to take your mind off of that. You got the Super Bowl coming up. Right. You know, it's going to take our minds off of our oppression. You know, it's going to reinforce the whole concept of slavery and performance. Right. Who's performing? Slaves.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to.
I mean, look, you hit it right on the head, sir. And that's why the damn number of us agreeing with the news being in our favor.
Right.
Because niggas is destroyed.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like it makes perfect sense now that you brought that to my attention. You understand? Most High in Christ, sir. Well, shit, you got anything else on this one?
I mean, that's enough. You know, we're consumers of our own destruction. We're consumers of our own destruction, right? Once again, we're gonna watch the Super Bowl and forget about all of our problems. All of our problems because of the Super Bowl.
And if I may too, sir, we gonna watch the Super Bowl and forget about all the concussion scandals that they had in the NFL and how many people was actually suing the National Football League, knowing that these brothers are actually getting so many concussions because of them playing football for the entertainment of our oppressors.
Right. I'm right.
You understand?
It's mostly us, like you said.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Walking around with canes.
Man.
Don't know who your rib is no more.
Nope.
It's like
That entertainment, man. It's like that, yeah. Okay, let me get this the next one. Okay. Let's see, it says a Texas school's punishment of a black student who wears his hair in locks is going to trial. Man, look, sir.
Salaki. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I don't want to
go
ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay,
do your thing.
Come what
Tell me
kind?
later.
Come what kind, sir? What's that? Anaheim, Texas. A judge ordered Wednesday that a trial be held next month to determine whether a black high school student in Texas can continue being punished by his district for refusing to change a hairstyle he and his family say is protected by a new state law. Daryl George, 18, has not been in his regular classroom in Barbers Hill High School in Bellevue since August 31st. Instead, he has either been serving in-school suspension or spending time in an off-site disciplinary program. His Houston area school district, Barbers Hill, has said George's long hair, which he wears it neatly tied in twisted locks on the top of his head, violates a district dress code that limits hair length for boys. The district has said other students with locks comply with the length policy. Wait. Salaki, sir, we can get some more, but you want to chime in real quick?
Well, I know you thinking it, but I'm gonna say it.
Go ahead, sir.
Right?
Focus shot.
Once again, man, our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Damn right, sir. Damn right.
Right. We know in the truth that dreadlocks is an unlawful thing. It's not our culture.
Right.
But we are so destroyed to the point where we will go to court, we will go to trial,
Right.
to defend another culture's habits,
Right.
another culture's their culture
Right.
of another nation.
Right.
Right. You know, that's the East Indian culture of dreadlocks. Right?
Another one kind, sir.
The god is the god or goddess? Shiva.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So we're willing to put off who we are to support the culture of another people.
And if I may ask, sir, the culture of another people who hate us.
Right.
Like,
Damn right.
And the crazy part about this story is, right, like, it says this school or this school district has a policy against a certain length of a boy's hair, right? Now, if this young brother had long hair and it was not in dreads, let's just say this young brother had hair down his back, you understand? And of course, it's a lot of our brothers that's of the tribe of Issachar down there in Texas and the Houston area as well. You understand? Right. I'm sure that the same thing applies for one of those brothers if they got long hair down their back, or one of our Native American Indian brothers. And the fact that they put this in play is because they don't want Black people, Latinos, and Native Indians to actually keep our customs.
Right.
Now, of course, don't get me wrong. Dreadlocks is not the custom of Israelites. It's not the custom of Black people. You understand? Right. But the policy didn't say that they have a problem with dreadlocks. They have a problem with a certain length of hair on males. You understand? Now, when you look throughout these scriptures, you understand? You see brothers with long hair because that is our custom. You understand? Right. And when you look at the history of places like Texas, Louisiana, Georgia, Tennessee, so forth and so on, a lot of those Bible Belt states, you understand? they want to beat the custom and the culture out of being the way that God intended you to be so much that they will discipline your children, you understand, and send them to a on-campus suspension or a disciplinary action type of institution, which is basically, you understand, a lesser level juvenile hall, just because this young brother doesn't want to cut his hair, you understand?
Right.
And it's evil as hell because it's not necessarily the dreadlocks, which is getting them to you know, get on his case or pursue discipline in him. It's the fact that he has long hair in general, which is why they're pursuing this. You understand? And like you said, sir, it's so sad. This brother, he wants to defend another person's culture so bad, he's willing to be disciplined. And on top of that, he's willing to go to court behind this. You understand?
It's like if you mentioned that point initially, like you're right, it's the length, right?
Mm-hmm.
So actually, if you look at it, they're supporting the other people to adopt another culture's hairstyle, so on and so forth.
Right.
Like you say, it's just the length of this brother.
Right.
Either way, it's destroying.
Damn right.
On either side.
Right. Nah, you're right, sir. And to add on what you're saying, like they want him to support and embrace not having long hair. They want him to support and embrace him going to go get a lineup.
Right.
Him going to go against his God. You understand? Right. Like, it's not the dreads for them. They could give a damn if he got dreads or if he got regular long hair. If he had long braids down to his back, he'd still be in court behind him. But it's not the fact that they don't like the dreads, but it's the fact that they don't want you to have long hair, because subconsciously these Edomites know that brothers having long flowing hair and braids, this is the custom of Israelites, and they want you so far removed from that, they would rather see you go get a shape up so you can think of yourself as an Egyptian. You understand? So you can think of yourself as a African, which you are not. You understand? You want to add some more on that, sir? Read a little bit more. George, a junior, said Wednesday that he has felt stress and frustration over what he sees as unfair punishment, but that he was grateful to soon be getting his day in court. I'm glad that we are being heard too. I'm glad that things are moving, that things are moving, and we're getting through this. George said after the hearing in Anaheim with his mother, Derisha George, standing next to him. State District Judge Chap Kane III, damn, that sounds like a goddamn Klansman, right? And Anahook said February 22nd trial in a lawsuit filed by the school district regarding whether his dress code restrictions limited the length of boys' hair violates the Crown Act. The new Texas law, which took effect in September, prohibits race-based hair discrimination and bars employers and schools from penalizing people because of hair texture or protective hairstyles, including afros, braids, locks, twists, or bantu knots. I like it, sir. Just niggas being punished because he got nappy hair. That's really what this is about. It ain't about the dreadlocks. It ain't about the length of it. It's in a sense, nigga, you better stay in line. We don't want to see that kinky, nappy, glorious hair that the Lord put on you niggas. Nah, cut that off, get you a nice lineup, you know what I'm saying? And make sure that you don't offend the rest of these white people with your natural appearance. You understand? That's really what it's about. Derisha George says she was disappointed the judge did not consider granting a temporary restraining order, which would have halted her son's punishment until next month's trial. I have a son, 18 years old, that wants to go to school, that wants to get his education, and y'all messing with him. Why? She said. In an affidavit filed last week in support of the temporary restraining order, Daryl George said he is being subjected to cruel treatment. I love my hair. It is sacred and it is my strength, George wrote. All I want to do is go to school and be a model student. I am being harassed by school officials and treated like a dog. Now, this young brother, he got some type of, he got some smarts in him, you understand?
Sure.
He said he loved his hair and it is sacred to him and it's his strength. Most High in Christ. I'm gonna give that brother a hand on that, you understand? But like you said, sir, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. This brother don't understand that. Look, yeah, your hair is sacred. Your hair is your strength. You understand? Mm-hmm. You're supposed to love your hair, but you're supposed to love it how the Lord intended for you to love it. Right. I guarantee you, if this brother had an afro out to here and it wasn't dreadlocks, it kind of would be easier to for him to be able to fight against them profiling him about his hair, right? Because number one, the Lord would be on your side with that, right? You understand? Like you going through all of this disciplinary action, because of course, if we go against what our God told us to do, He gonna send oppressors to rule over us, since we don't want our God to rule over us. You understand? But if he would have, you know, been raised One West, been raised UPK, he would understand where his error was in actually taking on this heathenistic custom of putting dreadlocks in his hair. And I don't think it would have been as bad as it is, because the Lord ain't with him in this fight per se, because you taking on the custom of heathens that the Lord don't want us to take on. Understand?
Like if I may, you would have realized that his strength actually would have been coming from the Lord, just like you just alluded to, right? And at this point, it sounds like it don't look too good for the brother, because unless they get a different judge, this judge wouldn't even issue a restraining order against the punishment until the trial took place.
Right. Yeah. Damn, it's a rough one right here, man. It's a rough one. A spokesman for the school district didn't speak with reporters after hearing and didn't immediately reply to an email seeking comment. In a paid ad that ran this month in the Houston Chronicle, Barbers Hill Superintendent Greg Poole maintained the district is not violating the Crown Act. Look, they not putting that, they ain't budging.
Lock it.
Go ahead, sir.
In a paid ad.
Hey, they got
the
money.
School took out a paid ad, right, to support their position.
Right. Man, come on.
Man, they hate Negroes, don't they?
Oh yeah, they hate Negroes. Yep.
Man.
Come on.
But we love them.
Right.
Like
and it's heavy that you say that, right? Because this brother is literally like he's a child still, right?
Right. Right.
But he's been brainwashed so much by Christianity, he's actually willing to go to court and fight to be accepted by his oppressor. That's never gonna happen, young brother. Right. It's like it's never gonna happen. You understand? The only way that you can conquer your oppressor, you understand, is if the Lord is on your side.
That's right.
We'll see how this goes, but I doubt it. I doubt it. And I wouldn't be surprised if the judge rules that, look, nigga, you got to cut your hair and get the hell up out this school district. I wouldn't be surprised.
Right.
You understand? We're going to be waiting to see what happens in the near future.
Yeah, I would like to see the outcome, because I will be willing to bet, you know, old turn of dollars to donuts, right? That if he stayed in that district, he cut his hair, his mother and he are going to be apologetic.
Yeah.
School district.
Right. Right.
You're going to have to issue an apology if you want to stay at this school.
Right.
You want to stay in this school district.
Public apology.
Public apology. Watch. It's going to happen.
Hey, you know what you're talking about, sir. Reading on. In an ad, Poole defended his district's policy and wrote that districts with a traditional dress code are safer and had higher academic performance, and that being an American requires conformity.
Long hair.
Translation. Less niggas, safer.
Right.
Less niggas, higher academic performance. If you want to call yourself a real American, you have to conform to what America tells you to conform. Right. They trying to beat the nigga out of him without the whip.
Right.
They doing it with a paid ad now. So
Right.
This is new. This is wild to me.
That's crazy. As a matter of fact, if things were fair,
Mm-hmm.
right, the judge would injunction them or fine them for putting a paid ad on this issue.
Right.
And it would be a beautiful thing if that brother won this case.
It would be.
You know what I mean?
It absolutely
and
would
he sued them for punitive damages
Right.
and emotional distress,
Right.
and so on and so forth,
Right.
just to get a nickel out of their behind. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's crazy to see us have to go through this.
Right.
But I shouldn't say it's crazy. It's actually expected.
It's expected.
This is not a surprise. This is what we expect to see. We expect to see them attack us in any kind of way that they can, like you say, to attack our culture, to
Right.
attack who we are.
Right.
Only problem is this brother really doesn't know who he is.
Right.
Perfectly. He's down in Texas.
We need to go holler at Captain Yachts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, damn right. ISUPK, Kayleen,
Houston. Yep.
So on and so forth. That's where you need to go, young brother. And your mother too.
Right. Most High Christ, sir. We will not lose sight of the main goal, high standards for our students, by bending to political pressure or responding to misinformed media reports. These entities have lesser goals that ultimately harm kids. Poor road. Damn. What the man? Damn. That was a mouthful. Sloppy.
Oh, sloppy.
Nah, hey, look.
Yeah. If I may, could you read that again?
Come on, sir. We will not lose sight of the main goal, high standards for our students, by bending to political pressure or responding to misinformed media reports. These entities have lesser goals that ultimately harm kids. Pool road.
Yeah. Misinformed media reports. So they're talking about misinformed media reports.
Mm-hmm.
So they place a paid ad to support their position.
Right. That's what it was about.
That's crazy.
Yeah, y'all being misinformed, so we can go ahead and pay some money to give y'all what's really going on.
So apparently, I don't know if they're losing traction, because you would think that all they have to do is, open yourself up for an interview.
Right.
But anyway.
Right. The two Texas lawmakers who co-wrote the state's version of the Crown Act state representatives Retta Bowers and Ron Reynolds attended Wednesday's hearing and said the new state law does protect Daryl George's hairstyle. The district is punishing Daryl George for one reason: his choice to wear his hair in a protective style which harms no one and causes no distraction in the classroom, Bowers said. George's family has also filed a formal complaint with the Texas Education Agency and a federal civil rights lawsuit against Governor Greg Abbott and Attorney General Ken Paxton, along with the school district, alleging they failed to enforce the Crown Act. The lawsuit is before a federal judge in Galveston, Texas. I ain't gonna lie, sir. Man, the young brother might come out on top of this one. And if he do, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, you understand? And I pray that somewhere in his near future, that this brother go find the doorsteps of Captain Yapazak down there, you understand? And actually come into the school to understand that these social injustices that's going on with Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians literally happen because we don't follow the laws of our power. You understand? But we can drop that one unless you have something else to say. Okay. Let's see.
on one hand, the brother, he's not trimming his ways, but he is trimming his ways.
Right, right.
He's not trimming his ways as far as the length of his hair, but he's trimming his ways as far as following another culture. But he don't know.
He don't know.
He don't know.
Okay, the next story. Forgotten black cemetery found at Florida Air Base. Oh, man. MacDill Air Force Base has identified potential grave sites dating from the 1840s through the 1920s that are part of the Port Tampa Cemetery, officials said. Here we go again. America building on top of the bones of black people that have either been unalived unjustly in this country. Right. But it seems like to me, okay, I said the 1840s, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, these is black people that's been unalived unjustly. So this is Florida.
Right.
Slavery, so-called, was abolished in 1865. I believe I did a story on it a long time ago, but in a time that slavery was abolished in the South, the slaves still didn't know that they were slaves.
Right.
I mean, they still didn't know that they were actually free.
Right.
You understand? It was business as usual for them slave plantation owners. You understand? But from 1840 to 1920 is crazy. The roaring 20s. This is actually the time where black people actually were thriving in this country. Right. And in the 1840s is actually a time where black people were still being slaughtered and lynched in this country, which only it only says one thing about these grave sites. They was doing the same thing to black people in the 20s that they was doing in the 1840s.
Right.
You understand? Like, and then on top of that, they built an Air Force base on top of this because they give a damn about what happened to black people in this empire. Right? Understand? Tilapia. Officials at MacDill Air Force Base in Tampa, Florida say they have confirmed the location of a lost former black cemetery on the grounds of the base and identified 121 potential grave sites, capping 3 years of archaeological surveys and building on earlier findings. Man, look, this wasn't no damn lost grave site.
Right.
This oppressor built it on top of that because he didn't give a damn about what happened to the people.
Right.
Nor did he give a damn about the legacy of those people.
Right.
These could have been some great landowners. You know, you know how they wiped out all of the different Black Wall Streets, just like they built a lot of these man-made lakes on top of black neighborhoods back in the days. You understand? Right. I wouldn't be surprised if this Air Force base actually was built in a neighborhood that they decimated that was actually owned by black people. You understand? And you know, did some type of god awful act to these people, got them off of the land, and then built something for themselves. Just how they did us in Jerusalem,
right,
during the time of the Maccabees. They came and slaughtered our people and made fortresses and garrisons for themselves on top of the same places that actually used to be owned by our people. Right. So I ain't surprised by this at all.
Right. If I may,
go ahead, sir. Please.
Same thing they're doing today with gentrification.
Right.
You know, they come into a neighborhood, a whole community.
Right.
You know, destroy it.
Right.
Get us all out.
Right.
And build their own.
Right.
You know, and once again, not to take away from this situation, right? Mm-hmm. You know, it's terrible. It's inhumane.
Right.
But once again, this is one of those stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
And nothing wrong with black people being aware of what the oppressor is doing, right? They do it right in front of our face, under our nose.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But once again, this is a situation that separates so-called black people from the tribe of Gad, the tribe of Issachar, right? Because this entire nation is built on a graveyard, is built on their bones.
Yeah, right, sir.
You know what I mean?
Lockie, let me get the sword so I can pull the scripture. That said exactly what you just said. That's heavy, sir. So Lockie. Let me see if this is.
You know, when you walk outside your door, you're walking on the bones of so-called Native Americans.
Absolutely.
Right? But they will have us focus on just ourselves.
Right.
The continuing agenda to have us separate from each other.
Right.
When Christ came, he says in Matthew 15:24, I come not but for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And that's the so-called Black, Latino, First Nation men, women, and children.
Right.
He came to bring us all together. I don't want to teach you a class, but he brought us all together. When that situation actually separates us.
Right.
Right. Is it a news story that's worthy that we should know? Is that one of those stories that we talked about in that first story you brought about?
Absolutely.
About having access to information. Right. So we get access to the information. It's a beautiful thing. We have this information, right? We should know it. All right. It puts us, we're oblivious as to what's happening to our brothers and sisters.
Absolutely, bro.
It keeps us being selfish.
Yeah, right.
You know, only concerned about Black people, right?
Right.
You cannot be only concerned about Black people. You know, there's this thing, I know you want to get to the scripture, but there's this thing, this brother, I think he's a journalist, about so-called Black people moving back to Atlanta, down south, you know, to strengthen the voting power.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But once again, that's one of those things that's geared to just so-called Black people, right? You have to start learning to be aware of a lot of these news stories, a lot of these things that are coming out, a lot of these things that are on the TV, the radio, that you believe you want to hear, but these things that you are hearing, that you believe is power,
right, is
actually putting you to sleep.
Right.
Right? Because knowledge alone is not power. It's applied knowledge that's power. Right? In the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, we're taught to apply knowledge, not just have knowledge for the sake of having knowledge. Right? But our knowledge is to bring God's people back together.
Right. Sir. This is the book, this is a precept for what you just said about us, you know, basically the whole America being built on the bones of Native American Indians, you understand? Us walking out of our doors every day and literally walking on a grave site of our brothers and sisters, the tribe of Gad, you understand? And this is down there in Florida, the tribe of Reuben, you understand? Same thing. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establisheth a city by iniquity. That's America. You understand? That's this Air Force base that was built on top of a grave site of so-called Black people, you understand, that was unalived unjustly. You understand? That's exactly what the oppressor does. He builds and establishes towns and cities and countries with blood and iniquity, you understand? And the Lord said, woe unto you, you understand, meaning destruction. So they're going to be destroyed, you understand, for building this great city Babylon on this big goddamn cemetery called America. You understand? I yield on that, though, sir. I'm on time, sir. Salaki, reading on. We're ready to say this Port Tampa, we're ready to say this is Port Tampa Cemetery. Senior Master Sergeant Terry Montrose, a base spokesman, said on Sunday. And we ready to say, you know what this is. Between the 1840s and 1920s, dozens of individuals, mostly Black, were buried in unmarked graves at the Port Tampa Cemetery in Tampa, he said. The Air Force Base was built at the site between 1939 and 1941. So between the 1840s and the 1920s, this was a grave site, a known grave site. Right. And y'all didn't start building on it until 20 years after this became a known grave site, until 20 years after they stopped burying people here. Right. Y'all know goddamn well what grave site this is. Right. And y'all did it on purpose because you don't give a damn about Black people the same way you don't give a damn about the Native American Indians. The same way you turned all of our black metropolises, as far as our cities in this country, into lakes. You understand? You turn our neighborhoods into parks.
Right.
Like Seneca Village was a neighborhood full of blacks and natives that lived there and thrived. But now it's Central Park, and you build it right over the place where brothers and sisters was actually unalived. You understand? Unjustly. Right. The housing project, the Magnolia Project down there in New Orleans, I believe it's called. I forget the person that was named after. You understand? But that school and the housing project is built on top of a cemetery. So you literally had brothers and sisters that was living in a goddamn graveyard. You understand? Sad. The base started searching for grave sites in 2019 after historians at the Tampa Bay History Center alerted officials that there might be a former black cemetery on land now occupied by the base. Sergeant Montross said, man, look, like I said, y'all started building on this base, on this cemetery in what it said, the 1940s. This was already a known and established cemetery from the 1840s all the way to the 1920s. They knew exactly what this was. Right. Using ground penetrating radar and cadaver dogs, searchers found 11 possible unmarked graves between 2019 and 2021. That wasn't enough to conclusively say they had found this cemetery, as the graves were spread sporadically, Sergeant Montross said. Sergeant Montross said, slightly. But there were enough bodies that we thought we should memorialize it. Come on, man. There was enough bodies.
Enough bodies. One ain't enough. One ain't enough?
No, one ain't enough. 11? Yep, we might as well start digging deeper into it. And the reason why they started digging into it, because people actually informed them that, oh, this is a potential grave site of black people from back in the day. But they knew this was a actual grave site when they started building on it in the 1940s. Right? The oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks to.
Right. And if I may,
go ahead, sir.
One thing that the oppressor is good at is stealing and keeping records.
Right.
They have the records on our culture. They have the records on our relationship with the Most High in Christ.
Right.
And there is this thing called title companies. Right. Title companies, if anybody out there that doesn't know, they have records on every square inch of land on this continent. You have your state records, you have your city records, you have your county records, and then those county records is where all those titles are kept.
Right.
Right. So if you go to a website with your county, you'll see is lines drawn, right? And each and every one of those boundaries of those lines is a history on that land.
Damn, that's deep. That's deep.
You understand?
That's deep.
So when you look at those records, right? Once again, they're good at keeping records, so they know exactly what the hell they were doing from the get-go. Once again, if it was one body in that site,
right,
it should have raised an eyebrow.
Right.
Right. Even to the point where in real estate today, when you purchase a house or sell a house or whatever, there's a record.
Right. The history of that land.
Of anybody that even died, that were unalived in that house.
Right.
You have to disclose that.
Right.
And that record stays with that property forever.
Right.
Where,
man, just like Carfax.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, there's no excuse for them doing what they do. Once again, they have a record on all these plots of land.
Right.
And, like I said, the oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
He'll always do what the hell he want to do.
Right. And it's heavy too, right? And that was an excellent point, sir, because, I didn't know about that. You understand? I didn't know that they actually had record of the history of different plots of land in every county. I didn't know that. You understand? But what I do know is they do keep records of history in general in this country.
Right.
We know who the president was in fucking 17 whatever. You mean to tell me y'all didn't know what land this was in the 20s?
Right.
Man, these people, the devil that the Bible speaks of, I understand, but Salakia, sir. The cemetery was discovered on a grassy area near a flight line on the base, which is spread over more than 5,700 acres. God dang. The base held a memorial service in February 2021 and dedicated a plaque to those buried there. But they ain't even found all the bodies.
Yeah, Slacky, you brought up something. This may be a little off track.
Go ahead, sir, please.
That term grassy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm born in 1962, so certain shit kind of hit my mind a little different, right?
Right.
You said the grassy part or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
What brings to mind is when John F. Kennedy was injured in that motorcade on the grassy knoll.
Grassy knoll, yeah.
That one individual was injured. He wasn't unalive at that point, I don't think. Right? But that little grassy knoll,
that's heavy.
You know what? Nothing will ever be built there. But
damn, that's deep. That's deep. These oppressors love their own kind. You can't even build nothing there. Meanwhile, they know that this is a known grave site,
right?
From the like, you can't forget that people was buried here in 20 goddamn years. You know what I'm saying? You got like in 20 years from now, if we have some of the same families that live over here, and Lord allow we get a bigger school and we probably relocate to a different area,
we're gonna.
Right? The family of some of these people might still be around, and if Christ don't return, the UPK might be bigger than what we is now. And eventually, 20 years from now, somebody will be able to tell their sons and daughters, oh yeah, you know them brothers that be all black, man, they used to be right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, the Black Panthers, them niggas was decimated when? The early 70s? You got brothers and sisters that's from Oakland, California, that got uncles that used to be paper boys for the Black Panthers, like myself, you understand? I still can go to a brother that's your age, my father's age, and get a little bit of the history of the Black Panthers from 30 years ago, 40 years ago. You mean to tell me 20 years after they stopped burying people here, y'all came and started building stuff on this site and you didn't know this was a grave site? Come on, man.
It's like, to your point, when we talk about these travel companies.
Go ahead, sir.
And you talk about people who may be here 20 years from now, talking about you just this building right here, right?
Right.
This is how deep they keep records, right? They're still on record as far as the house that the Black Panthers got started in.
Right.
That's on record.
Right. As a matter of fact, General Muhammad actually went to that house.
Right.
Come, sir.
Now, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge
is on record
under Commander General Yohanan,
right,
at 2213 McDonald Avenue,
right,
in Richmond, California. Understand this: there's a history of us being here,
right.
There's a history of them not wanting us to be here,
right. Absolutely.
But on that lease agreement,
right,
that county record,
right,
them Negroes was there,
right. Come, sir.
Them Negroes, they keep immaculate records, man.
Right.
You know, anyway, I won't go into all the other
stuff. No.
But my point is, they don't want us anywhere.
Right. Come, sir.
Right. They don't want us nowhere so bad that they will desecrate our grave sites.
Yeah, that's heavy. That's heavy, sir.
They don't even want you in the ground.
That's heavy, sir.
Where do they want us?
Man.
Where do they want blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men, women, and children? Where do they want us? Well, they got a good record. They want us in the ghetto. They want us in the barrio.
Right.
They want us on the reservation.
Right. They want us to change.
And all those records are there. And guess what? They're moving on the ghettos. They're moving on the barrios. They're moving on the reservations because they have oil.
Right. Right.
We're gonna put you here, but now we don't want you here. We're gonna decimate this ground, kick you out, and we're gonna build on it. We're gonna build some more of our stuff where you were.
Man.
Like,
Nah, what you said was heavy, sir. You understand? Like it's so heavy. And speaking of the records, right? Just to add on what you said, what else is on record is 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. That will always be in the history of the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. And in Harlem, New York, in the county that's in, I'm sure there's a record in the record books that said, yeah, them niggas used to be right here. Right, understand? Right. But
it's like if I'm
go ahead, sir.
This is the last point I'm gonna make about the title.
Go ahead, sir. Come on with it.
There's a title on that land over there in the Middle East,
right?
That belongs to Israel.
Oh man.
Israelites, the 12 tribes.
Right.
The Lord has the title to that land.
That's right.
And now we have this history of our land being invaded, taken away,
right,
desecrated,
right,
fought over by strangers.
Right.
The Lord has a title to that land, and he's coming back to get it.
Look, sir, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. That's the jewel of the week. You understand? The Lord has a title on that land. He's coming back to get it. He sent his priests and prophets to warn you that he's going to get it. You understand? It will happen. You understand? We're gonna go ahead and end it. Yahweh Hashem Ashabrak a thumb to the brothers. Yahweh Shemal a thumb by Hashem outside to the sisters. I want to thank my big brother, Officer 1000, could come out of mine, tapping in, you know what I'm saying, and holding it down with me today. Make sure y'all tune in, Lord allow. We're going to be back at it next week, you know what I'm saying, Wednesday night after the law class, of course, for another episode of Dropping Jewels. We got General Muhammad Scripture Breakdown class tomorrow. Northern California Scripture Breakdown taught by Officer 5000 Kasar Pekan, you know what I'm saying? If you thirsty for this knowledge, if you thirsty to actually seek justice for what happened to your people, man, tune in the class, man. That's where it started with all the rest of us. You know what I'm saying? You got anything you want to say, sir? Close us out.
You can set it off. You can tap in and get trained to build the kingdom.
Most High Christ, sir.
Get trained to build the kingdom. The kingdom is not coming back by observation.
Right.
The kingdom is going to come back by you coming in, getting in all black, and listening to what Officer Karanyala got to say.
That's right.
What Commanding General Johanna has to say.
That's right.
What the Lord has to say.
That's right.
That's all.
You're right, sir. With that being said, Shalom, Israel. Tap in, you know what I'm saying?